The man for this month is Bishop Errol Wright, affectionately called E.J. Wright, pastor at the Miracle Open Bible Church. He's a father, a husband, a justice of the peace, and chaplain. And him look young. You'd never believe how long he's in ministry.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah.
Welcome so much, Bishop. Great to have you on the mailbox.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes. How are you doing? Welcome to the mailbox. Thank you so much for showing up.
Right, thank you. One correction. It's not Miracle Open Bible Church, although I pioneered that church. It is Hope and Mercy Ministries in Westchester.
All righty. Thank you so much for that correction. Indeed. It's a pleasure to have you with us, sir.
Thank you.
And Courtney, we are very excited about today's program. We're gonna delve into some of his personal travels and life, a tremendous ministry. And so I know man from Moran Point and Negril will benefit, and persons from all over the world. And we want to remind persons, we also going to be looking at a man from St. Catherine, Pastor Omar Ricketts. We're gonna spend 15 minutes or so as we look at our I Love the Summer Parish Spotlight, and we're spotlighting the parish of St. Catherine.
Yay!
So, so we encourage them and them. We're also live on Facebook, YouTube, Love 101 FM, Jamaica. You can leave your comments via our WhatsApp line, 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. Or give us a call on our studio line, 876-968-8327. Ladies, thank you so much for being with us. But remember, do not call nor leave any voice message. Leave the time for the man them, right? But you can comment on Facebook and also, yes, on the other platform. So we have a space for you, but just recognize we want the man them to have this time to benefit.
We want to hear from the men. And
yes.
So after the break, we'll have a chit chat with our guest from St. Catherine and our 73-year-old Mentegrity man, Bishop E.J. Wright, who has been in pastoral leadership for over the past 50 years, almost as old as I am. It is the mailbox. We take a break and we'll be right back right after this.
Integrity man, I am a man.
I always do my best to stay in control of my expenses. So with Flow, I added my mobile to my home internet service and elevated my savings. I get 50% off my mobile plan each month. Yeah, man, I get a simple, predictable mobile bill of $1,600 plus GCT and never sign a contract nor made a deposit. And you can get this too. Add your mobile to your Flow home internet for elevated savings of 50% off your mobile plan each month. Visit the Flow store or discoverflow.co to sign up today.
Many of our brothers and sisters lose hope when diagnosed with HIV. Some lose their will to continue being a part of society. Others are despaired by the challenges of keeping up with their treatment. We understand. But remember, people with HIV live normal and progressive lives every day. You can too if you get back on track with your HIV treatment. Live for you, live for someone, live for something.
Get back on track, get back to life.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Life comes at you fast and it can hit hard. Apply for the Credit Union Prepaid MasterCard from CNWJ with chip and PIN protection. Need a card with a personal line of credit for emergencies? We have that. Need a card you can use to shop online for that must-have item? We have that. The Community and Workers of Jamaica Prepaid MasterCard. All the convenience of a MasterCard. Discover the benefits of belonging.
I always do my best to stay in control of my expenses. So with Flow, I added my mobile to my home internet service and elevated my savings. I get 50% off my mobile plan each month. Yeah, man, I get a simple, predictable mobile bill of $1,600 plus GCT and never sign a contract nor made a deposit. And you can get this too. Add your mobile to your Flow home internet for elevated savings of 50% off your mobile plan each month. Visit the Flow store or discoverflow.co to sign up today.
Let's get up and go.
Time to explore.
It's here! I love summer!
The time you have been waiting for is here.
Don't miss out on the exciting features and engaging discussion.
As Love 101, the family station goes through the nation,
highlighting people, places, and the peculiar promises of Jamaica land we love.
It's I Love Summer.
You won't be bored.
You will laugh and play.
You will worship and pray. You'll be educated and edified.
Don't miss a beat.
I love summer. It's time to explore. I love it. 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 I love summer.
I am a man, yes, strong man, integrity man. I am a man. Hey man, I am.
Yes.
I love summer, Courtney. I love summer, and I'm sure that the man them love summer. Welcome back to the mailbox on Love 101 FM. I'm Kevin Bailey, my co-host, Pastor Courtney Morrison in the place, and we're also featuring our man of integrity. You know, with all the challenges that we face in this wonderful island, beautiful island, the best country in the world, we want to showcase, that we have some great men in the place taking up their position, doing some fantastic work. And we have our Mentegrity man, Bishop Errol, Wright. We'll have a conversation with him in a while. But Courtney, you know what we're going to have during this I Love Summer feature here, and a special guest that we have. Who is it, Courtney?
And just before we speak about that special guest, we want to give the man a shout out. We love to give the man a shout out. Kevin, I hope you had a wonderful Father's Day. I think this is a Father's Day unlike any other Father's Day. There is a shift in Kevin, and better things and better days are ahead for us.
Huge, Courtney. Awesome. I am encouraged with the way that we're elevating Father's Day. I am very encouraged with the fact that we're focusing and encouraging, challenging, empowering our fathers. I felt good. I think we have come a very far way, still ways to go, but it's a huge improvement when we consider 5-10 years ago, Courtney.
So a big shout out to all of the fathers and all of the man them, and we're going to do it in our typical way. After 3, 1, 2, 3, Monday! Yes, man. And at this time, though, we want to highlight our special guest, I Love Summer, and it is the spotlight is on St. Catherine. And we have with us today our St. Catherine man is Pastor Omar Ricketts. He's from Harmony Gospel Chapel in Spanish Town. Good afternoon, sir. Good to have you here with us.
Good afternoon.
We want to know a little bit about you. We want to hear from you. And we have some questions we like to ask you. And we're hoping that our internet services will be favorable with us today as we go through doing what we are doing. Just want to know a little bit about you, sir. How long have you resided in St. Catherine? We want to hear some of your likes and dislikes since you have been living there. What are some of the things you love? What are some of the things that give problem that you'd like to see fixed? And we want you to tell us what you love about being a Christian. So, how long have you been in St. Catherine? Your likes and dislikes about the parish. Tell us about your Christian life.
Well, personally, first I am Omar Ricketts, and I have been living here in St. Catherine for more than 30 years. Matter of fact, I could say probably about 37, 38 years. But what I love about St. Catherine is a very dynamic parish in the sense that it has a very rich cultural heritage.
See, our internet connection giving us some challenges there. I am hoping that we will get it better. Pastor Ricketts, we're not hearing you, so we missed out on what you said a while ago. You were sharing about the rich cultural heritage. Let's hear again. See if we can get it better this time.
And we seem to have lost him again. You know, that's one of the disadvantages of online features. There we go.
It has several layers. It contributes to the country cultural background, in the sense that Spanish Town is one of those first established organized city in Jamaica. We have here in St. Catherine a very strong agricultural background, several cane farms, and of course in the rural areas it contributes significantly to the bread basket of this country. And of course we have it has its beaches. St. Catherine is just dynamic. You know, it's one of the fastest, has one of the fastest growing metropolitan area, Portmore, and which we see probably very near future might become the next parish. It is a very diverse community. It has organized and of course some not so organized communities. Very rich for evangelism. Good place for evangelism.
Wow. Challenges. What are a few of the challenges you see in this precious parish here, Pastor Ricketts?
Because St. Catherine, like all other communities, have what I call not organized. I want a formal word for it. But a lot of the land is and where people settle is not regarded to be organized settlement. So people would retreat from rural areas and settle, and or probably retreat from another community where there's violence and settle. What happened is, because these are not organized communities, you find out that they have a lot of crime and social problems, which crime is one of. So some of these social problems breed to other problems, the spin-off of which we would hear from time to time on our radio and our television set. I do believe, though, with that said, that there are a lot of things that are happening that that is contributing to the upward look for St. Catherine. When we look and we see the number of housing that has been, formal housing that has been coming to St. Catherine, it tells you that if there's still a prospect, because St. Catherine connects the northern side of the country very, very easily for commerce. You have the industrial connections between all those major highways that are coming on stream, that is already there. And so St. Catherine is very prime for even for large trading companies. It's one of the larger, most of the large trading companies perch in St. Catherine because of its distribution of road network and connectivity. So St. Catherine have a lot of positive going on for it. We see even speaks to the churches. The churches here are organized. The church leaders on this side are organized. I speak to St. Catherine, the Spanish Town Ministers Fraternal, which is another positive, organizing pastors from varying background so that they can all represent a voice on matters which affect the church. St. Catherine do have, I would say, have every infrastructure that is in any other part of the parish, other than, I would think, an airport, which I believe somebody might soon put here as a positive. But it is an excellent place.
Yes, among other developments to come, we're listening to Pastor Omar Ricketts, from Arm the Gospel Chapel in Spanish Town, the Bogwalk Gorge. We have so many attractions, Linstead, Bogwalk, and we go further, touching Guys Hill and touching the borders of St. Anne and Clarendon. But we want to know a little bit about you. We have heard about the parish itself, St. Catherine, disputing whether or not it or St. Anne is the largest of all the parishes. I don't know if they have concluded which one is the largest. But we want to hear a little bit about you. We want to hear about God's transformative power in your own life and what's happening with you down there in the Gospel Chapel. And tell us about you just being a Christian and what's so great and exciting about being a man of God.
Well, I have been recently ordained a bishop 2 years now.
Oh, congrats.
Congratulations.
God be glorified. But what is so significant is, and I smile when I heard you asking about me. Well, I am one of those persons whom I grew up with my father. And my mother, she might be listening, she's still alive. She is a wonderful soul. I think she prayed for me every morning and intercede for me. But I really grew up with the first 10 years or so with my grandfather and grandmother, who were ardent Christians.
Yes.
But then there were domestic disputes which really pushed me off the country. That would have been Clarendon. And then my mother and father took me from country and get me into early primary education here in St. Catherine, Friendship Primary. And then from there, I went to St. Catherine High School. Now, in my high school years, I've recognized that my father and mother could not get along. So what happened is domestic feud. My mother left. And when I think about it, it is while I'm an adult, I recognize what she was going through. Because while now my father is a converted believer, and that is a story all by itself, my father, when I understand his background, he was struggling to express himself and understand the love that my mother was bringing to the family. And so what happened is that it was an abusive relationship. My mother left, but my father stuck it out. He grew us up. And I want to say this to all the men out there. While you may not understand every facet of life, when you are entrusted with a child, do your diligence to raise them up well. My father, even though he was always with the bottle 95% of his time, when as long as it reached evening, you could be rest assured that he would be drinking from the bottle. But somehow within that, he was able to think consciously when it comes on to us. He was adamant that we had to go to school. So while he was off, I got exposed to a lot of things, because he would leave early in the mornings and return late at nights. So that's how I learned my domestic skills. I had to learn how to cook. I had to learn how to plait my sister's hair. I had to learn how to take care of my little brother. And, even the meals that I cook, those meals are, when I tell my wife about these meals, they would laugh me to scorn, because they think these days that I am not good in the kitchen. But I used to cook some really sumptuous meal.
Yes.
I used to cook meals. Yes, sir.
Pastor Ricketts, we're almost out of time, but we wanted to leave an encouraging word to our men, based on your experience, your passion. What would you say to our men, to encourage them during this season? Sorry that we have to contain it, but hopefully another time, right? What would you say to our men?
Indeed. Men, you have some responsibility. Your responsibility to this world. You weren't just born for to hang out on a corner. You have a lot to offer. And man, you're called to leadership. Stand up and stand out. I want to say to men, you're called to provide. Men, you're called to give security to family. And even if you don't have family, God is preparing you for a journey. Because where I start where I am now, I never knew that I would have been anywhere there. I want to also say to men, it is no shame to call on God, the name of God. Some of the toughest guys that I have met on this earth or this country, Jamaica, knew I had to minister to them. And one of the things that bring them to center is Christ, Jesus. And so regardless of how tough you are, God can relate to you. And no matter how life is, there is another man who has been through worse than what you have been through and still emerge as an example. I one day will be able to tell you my story, but the old dreadful clock on the wall is speaking to us.
Yes,
But whenever the Holy Spirit do allow, I will be able to tell my story. I do have a remarkable one.
I'm sure our producer is listening, and I'm sure she might find it possible to get you back. We have been listening to Pastor Omar Ricketts. It's the I Love Summer Spotlight, and we're spotlighting a man from St. Catherine, and that's Pastor Omar Ricketts from Harmony Gospel Chapel in Spanish Town. Hey, Kevin, I'm inspired and blessed by hearing him, even in his father who was abusive. And this is one of the things I've been talking about. We can start a batterers intervention program in Jamaica, because we have seen good men who have not understood what's happening with them, that needs counsel and help, and we believe they can be restored, redeemed, and reconciled. And so, thank you very much, Pastor Omar Ricketts, for sharing with us. I'm sure men are encouraged by that and listening to you to see the example you have turned out to be. Excellent job. Thank you.
And I just want to say also before I leave, because my father is listening, big up yourself, Daddy. I am so happy for your transformation and your water baptism and your path and your decision to serve the Lord Jesus Christ. That I had to say that so that lest he be discouraged that I did not make note that he is transformed.
Bless God. Thank you, Bishop, and congrats again. It's bless you. It's time to get into the main segment. Time as a way of catching up on us. So we're gonna go straight into the inbox, and today we're looking at a man of integrity. We say, who is a man of integrity? Proverbs 10 verse 9 says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but whoever takes crooked paths will be found out. A man of integrity values what is honest, what is true, noble, trustworthy, kind, and right ahead of personal gain.
And that person who we have with us today, Bishop Errol Wright, affectionately known as E.J. Wright, especially in the Portmore Ministers Fraternal. He commenced his pastoral ministry in 1971 in Naglehead, Portmore, as the first pastor of the Elim Open Bible Church. He later established the Miracle Open Bible Church in Independence City in Portmore. He served as a former chairman of the Portmore Ministers Fraternal, which continues to be one of the active fraternals in Jamaica. And yes, we know that is true. Husband to one wife for the past 49 years.
Wow.
Father to 3 children and grandfather to 4 grandchildren. Currently, he is not only keeping the peace, but he is a justice of the peace. Welcome, Bishop Wright. Thanks for being here with us and being our Mentegrity guest for today.
Wow.
So Bishop, correct, to correct you again, that I'm married for 51 years.
There you go.
Wow.
51 years.
Congratulations.
That is huge. Congratulations, Bishop. And you have to tell us the secret, But before we go straight into that, so many things. And what was it like for you growing up? Give us a little synopsis of your early beginnings, because with all the success, all the things we're hearing about you, tell us, when did it start and what was it like for you, Bishop, growing up?
Let me tell you, Christian parents are very important. Although my father was a Christian, my mother was, and she was one of the first Christians in the Open Bible Standard churches in Montego Bay. So before I was born, I was in the church. Yes, my mother expected me, and I was in the church.
Yes.
And I always go to the altar to accept the Lord. But at the age of 11, I said, I am a Christian now. You know, as children, sometimes when you go to the altar, the adults don't pay much attention to us. But I was more serious than some of the adults.
Yes.
And at the age of 11, I knew that I would be a full-time pastor at the age of 11.
How did you know that, Bishop? How did you know that? At 11 years old, people are, you know, running up and down, trying to fire themselves. How did you know that you were going to be entering full-time?
I feel it on the inside, so it must be the Spirit of God speaking to me on the inside.
What was your childhood days like? Were there challenges? Were there difficulties? You grew up, yes, with Christian parents. Tell us a bit about schooling as well. We want to hear a bit more.
As I said, my father wasn't a Christian, but he was always on he was always traveling on farm work.
Yes.
And my mother had to depend on the $10 that come every 3 weeks to take care of us.
Wow.
So sometimes in going to school, go to school barefoot sometimes. When it comes to lunchtime, the little lunch that we had, maybe a bull or so, you know, we had to walk around the school building and pinch it. Feel so ashamed, hoping that nobody see us. So it was rough days, you know, as a child. And then I received a half scholarship, we call it those days, and I went to Cornwall College. And it was also rough that, you know, when it's break time at 10 o'clock and you see all those guys buying their snacks, you know, bun and cheese and bun and patty. You can't buy anything. You know, so there were hard times. But I always loved the Lord, and I always try to live as best as I can as a Christian in those days and as a child.
Wow. So you maintained your Christian walk during high school. Were there particular challenges, you know, being male and in that environment with the lure of girls around you and temptations and so? How did you navigate those teenage years? What was it like?
Well, in those days, I wasn't really exposed to like parties and so forth and girlfriends and so on. You know, it was just school, church, home, because of my mother's stand in the Lord. You know, she would always pray and cry for us. I was one of the 7 children. I was the 4th of the 7 children. You know, so my mother played a great role in. I was not exposed much to the things of the world.
You were the middle child and you were well sheltered. We're talking to Bishop E.J. Wright. We're going to take a time signal and get back a little bit more to hearing more about Bishop Wright. Be right back with you.
You're listening to Family Radio Love 101, the time on the family station. It's now a minute moving past the hour 6 o'clock.
We're ever ready to assist you before, during, and after a disaster. Hurricanes can happen, so be prepared.
Colgate Triple Action. 3 benefits for a deep clean. As a mother, you always want to give the best to your family and to make them happy. With Colgate Triple Action, you give them 3 reasons to smile: cavity protection, whiter teeth, and fresh breath. A unique formula with a minty flavor they will love. Colgate Triple Action. Find it at your favorite store.
Emerge from this pandemic stronger, qualified, and ready to work with local and international certificates in just 1 month at Distinction College. Start our fun 1-month super course Bonanza program, July 10 to August 14, and get certified in geriatric and pediatric nursing, phlebotomy, call center, customer service, receptionist, business administration, cashiering, supervisory management, basic computing, childcare, nail tech, housekeeping, waitering. No subjects required, no age limit, no entrance test. Register this week and get up to 25% discount on all courses. Call us at 876-356-4167. Visit us in Kingston, Spanish Town, Ocho Rios, and St. Elizabeth.
Not easy.
Become the hero on the scene by taking the COVID vaccine.
Get vaccinated as soon as you get all the facts. Don't listen to the rumors. This vaccine might just make it possible for teachers to sit face to face with schoolers. This vaccine make it safer for everybody, from the young to the elderly. Don't you want to go back to living normally when things were more orderly? And if you want to live a long good life, then we all have to do what's right. So let's get vaccinated along with the heroes at the front line.
Message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Youths, it's your time. Hey. Young people, millennials, and the young at heart, this one is for you. Join us this Friday, June 25 inside Fellowship Fridays for our Youth Fellowship Takeover at the Linstead Pentecostal Tabernacle. You heard right. Siobhan Blair will be traveling all the way to Linstead St. Catherine to join the fun worship and ministry at the Linstead Pentecostal Tabernacle Youth Fellowship on Friday at 7 p.m. for a takeover. Be sure to join us live on Facebook and YouTube as we worship together, millennial style. That's our I Love Summer Parish Spotlight Youth Fellowship Takeover this Friday, 7 p.m. here on the Family Station, Love 101.
Man. I am a man, yes.
Welcome back. You're here on Love 101 listening to The Mailbox live, aired every Wednesday at 5:30 to 6:30 p.m. Love is the #1 gospel station right here in Jamaica. What a station to be with, the family station. We're having a conversation with Bishop E.J. Wright. It's our Mentegrity Wednesday. He was telling us a bit about school and how sheltered he was, it would seem. No girlfriend seemed to have challenged him during those younger years. He was well sheltered. Tell us a bit about your conversion to Christianity and how did it happen? Where did it happen? And how did your ministry even happen after even being converted? Let us hear a bit about that.
Let's get into it as time is going.
Yes.
As I was saying that at the age of 11, I said to myself, I'm now a Christian because I always go to the altar. All right. So after I always listen to this and get magazine from, I don't know if you know this evangelist, A.A. Allen. And he was an evangelist who had the largest tent in the United States, and a lot of healing would take place and so forth. And I always say, I don't want to be an ordinary pastor. I don't want to be an ordinary Christian. I want to be a man of faith and power. I want to see miracles. I want to see healing. So I think God had that purpose on my life. And when I was left after 5 years at Cornell College, I took the GCE and I never passed a subject because I always suffer with migraine headache. And so when exam time comes, the headache is so strong. But the first year that Church's Teachers College opened, I took the entrance examination. About 110 of us took it. And they only need about 33. And I passed. Can you imagine that? So they said I should go back and take the GC and then come back the next year. So I almost had become a teacher. But
you still are a teacher.
I mean, in the public school. But God had something as planned for me. And so I started a business in Mentegity as Errol J. Wright and Company, sole agent in Jamaica. I think while I was a teenager, I always believe in tithing the 10%. And I say, God, if you allow me to be that sole agent in Jamaica for that firm in Germany, I'm not going to tithe 10%, I'm going to tithe 20%. Wow. And so the Lord allowed me to become that agent, and I would import musical instruments and sell it as I worked with Mr. Tyson at his store. And then the call of God was strong on me to go to Bible school. They even wanted me to be the pastor at Mount Salem before I went to Bible school, but the authorities said no, I was too young, and the ministry would have discouraged me at that time. And so I decided to pack up everything and leave everything with Mr. Tyson and leave for Bible school. And I decided to go to Bible school. My father said he had no business with me. I can stay home and read Bible. And my mother, who was not working, said, go, Errol, I'll pray for you. Wow. And I left and went to Bible school at the Jamaica Open Bible Institute. And the next day I took a plane and went back to Jamaica. I went back to Montego Bay.
You took a plane and went back to Jamaica.
Went back to Montego Bay. And the dean called me and talked with me for a long time, and then I went back to Bible school again. But I was so strong when it comes to tithing,
Yes.
And I believe that if you tithe, as God says, the word of God, it'll open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing. So I would always preach tithe and offering and seed faith and giving and receiving. And when I went to Bible school, sometimes students at the school for a long time, they can't get job. And the first day I went to look a job, I got a job at a store where the manager was seeing me for the first time. They had no vacancy, they had no work, but they employed me that day on the spot.
Wow. They created a post just for you.
Well, they never had a post.
That's awesome. That's what we call the favor of God in its most.
How do you know, Bishop? Because you have been serving in capacity, married for 51 years in ministry. How do you know that it is God speaking? How do you know you're in the will of God and the purpose of God? Because many of our men, listening, and they ask that question, Bishop. If you were to share 2 or 3 indicators, signals, as it were, that would help our men to know the purpose and if they are walking in the will of God. What would you say?
All right. I've never heard the audible voice of God. When I hear people say they hear God's voice, I wish I could hear God's voice audible. But there's a voice on the inside. Your soul consists of your thoughts, your will, and your emotion. So there's always that thought, that constant thought in my mind that never leaves me. And I believe that God mostly speaks to us early morning. Psalm 63, 1-3, early will I seek thee. And then Jesus would go out early in the morning to pray. And that's one time that God will speak to you. And whenever a thought keep on coming back to you, you're not really thinking on it, but it keep on coming back to you, back to you, back to you. That's one way you can know that God is speaking to you. And then I graduated from Bible school as a valedictorian. A little bird pinched me and told me that I was a valedictorian, but because I got married in school, they made me Sally valedictorian.
Wow.
But I started my ministry at Eden Open Bible Church in Nagohead, and I gave up my job because one time I used to work, go to Bible school, and pass at the same time. And then I gave up my job and started full-time in Nagohead with about 5 members. And after 2 years, I left Nagohead and went to Independence City and started the Miracle Open Bible Church. At that time, I felt I was too young, really. I looked too much like a boy to pass that church in such a big community. And because my wife and myself were like a little boy and a little girl.
How old were you?
Yes.
How old were you when you got married?
About 22 or so.
Wow.
And I said the only way I could have a church, could build a church in Independence, it would have to be a miracle. And so that's why I named the church Miracle Open Bible Church. Okay? And
we thank you for that bit of history, man.
Yes, and God had been good to us. We had a clinic at the church. You could come and see a doctor twice per week, free of cost. And then I made arrangement with a pharmacy where they could take their prescription, only pay half of the cost, and the church would pay the other half. We started a gym there because I always believe in health.
Wow.
Healthy lifestyle. We started a gym there and people could come and exercise. We had basic school. We had the first of a lot of things in Portmore because there were no really established gym in Portmore. And so there was a lot of firsts in Portmore. At one time we had up to 800 members, And
I wanted to ask you because you have done quite a lot of firsts. Like you started this thing. What would you say? Yes. What would you say are the ingredients for growth? Many men listening. Leaders in church and other places, because you must have faced challenges and all of that, managing people. What is the secret, Bishop, for starting something and allowing it to grow? What have you learned, your expertise and experience? in that?
All right. I can only speak for myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
That I believe in holiness, and I always emphasize holiness. Even when we had youth camps and other leaders would have had a lot of rules and so forth, I would emphasize holiness and try to get the young people to live holy and to do right. And some feel that I was making too much emphasis on holiness, but it worked, you know. And and I I always trust God and say, as I said before, I do not want to be an ordinary pastor. I want to work in the supernatural.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of healings would take place in my ministry, and those things attract people. For example, there was this young girl who had a brain tumor,
Mm-hmm.
and we prayed for her at Miracle Open Bible Church. And when she went from Spanish Town Hospital to the University Hospital to do further tests, they could not find the brain tumor. And the doctor wrote a letter to testify to the fact that she had a brain tumor. Her church prayed for her, and the brain tumor disappeared.
Wow.
And
Oh, bless God.
And then after, there was also a gentleman who was shot at his gate with a shotgun, and all the pellets were inside of his foot, and the doctor couldn't take them out, and was walking with a limp. And I said, one Tuesday night, I said, brother, what's wrong with you? Because he was walking limping, and he told us the story. We took him inside the church, we prayed for him, and the pain disappeared, and he suffered no longer, because the doctor said he would not be able to walk properly over a period of time. And a short period of time, he was able to walk properly without pain, and he was healed from those gun pellets in his foot.
Exciting. Glory to God. I want to ask you the questions. We're hearing about ministry. You gave up your business. We want to hear a bit about your personal life. You've been married for 51 years. You have children. How do you balance family? You did a number of firsts, as we said. You pioneered churches, Elim Open Bible, Miracle Open Bible. You're now at a different church that you are pioneering and have planted. How do you, over those 51 years, ensure that family is taken care of while doing the business of church or doing the ministry of church? We want to hear how that is done. We want to encourage ministers who are not getting that correct balance.
All right. I pioneer 5 churches in Portmore.
Wow.
And as I said, I believe in the supernatural. And all of my children, the 3, well, you need to hear this one, that my first child was a boy. And we had that boy when we were in Nagu Head in the dirt, because when we started church there, the only place that had tile was the platform, and the rest of the church was dirt. And we sat on building blocks and board.
Wow.
And my first child, the only boy, died at that time. And that could have discouraged. Yeah, that could have discouraged us and take us out of the ministry, but we moved on, and we had 3 girls. Now the point is, how we balance the work, the church, and the family, is that my entire family was a part of the whole system. For example, like when we have an all-night prayer meeting, we take the children with us. They would sleep on benches and so forth. They were always a part. The whole family was always a part of the ministry. So we really never had a problem there. And being full-time in the ministry too, I try to spend time with them. Although sometimes I act as an evangelist in Open Bible Church. But, if I was still in the Open Bible Church, I would have been made redundant long time ago.
You'd have been retired, sir.
Retired. Sorry.
What would you say? What would you say?
Retired at the age of 70.
Ah.
I'm now 74. So when I came to Westchester and started Hope and Mercy Ministries. So that's the name of the church I know, pastor. Hope and Mercy Ministries. It was given to me prophetically, because there are 2 scriptures in the Psalm that says, the eyes of the Lord are upon those who hope in his mercy. There are 2 scriptures that talk about it to confirm. You don't start a doctrine on 1 scripture, you must have at least 2. And there are 2 scriptures that it says, hope and mercy. And it's after that I realized it was really prophetic. And 19 years ago, we started the ministry. And in Westchester, the land was left vacant by West Indies home contractors, and many pastors wanted to use the land. And although the community leadership gave them permission, nobody went on the land. And when I came to Westchester and I was given permission to use the land, and we couldn't find the owner of the land because every organization said they did not own it. So we were on it for 19 years. And I just want to show the miracle working power of God that we were on that tent. And sometime 1 year, for 5 times for the year, we had to take the tent down every time hurricane is coming.
Wow.
And we asked permission to build a temporary structure, and the authorities never gave us permission to build it. And one day there was no hurricane, there was no storm, but one Saturday wind came and destroyed the tent, broke up the metal, everything, just like that. And we had to go to Heart Academy for 3 months. And so I always tell people that the Lord destroyed the tent because we couldn't get permission to put a temporary building.
Yes.
And one day at Heart Academy, I received a telephone call from one of the council at the time. And he said, Pastor Wright, I went out on the limb for you. I spoke to the mayor, I spoke to the councils, I spoke to the building inspectors. Go and build anything you want to build. And so we started building without money, without money, nothing much. And we never stopped building. Money come from England, money come from America, money come from here and from there. And the Lord helped us to put that building up. It cost about $30 million. And cutting long story short, after 19 years, the developers come and say they own the land.
What?
And we have to, yes, they own the land and we have to relocate. And they gave us a portion across the road. And one of the members of the team developers told me that it valued $20 million, but they are giving it to us free of cost. Free of cost. So we now have documents that the land belongs to us, and we have been able to, we have to demolish the building and store them in a container and move the container across the road. So our container is there across the road now, and we are putting up a shed so that we can have services until we get our plan passed to put up a more permanent structure. But God is a miracle working God. And don't forget, let me tell you this last one. They stole my car last week.
Yes,
Monday,
yes.
Wow.
At the tax office in Portmore. You need to hear these things. These are miracles.
Yes.
And when I came out, I spent less than an hour in the tax office. When I came out, I could not find my car.
Right.
And I felt that because I'm getting old, I forget where I parked my car.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
But when I look up the line and down the line, I realized that the car was stolen. And that night, someone phoned me and said, Pastor Wright, I realized that they have stolen your car. I have a hybrid Toyota Camry. If you want it, come and get it. Now, two persons wanted that car to buy. One man should have paid on it, and he never did it. And when we went for it the Tuesday morning, we were told that the man never came, and the owner was saying, I don't know why he never came, but I knew why, because it belonged to us.
It is yours.
Right, and 2 days afterwards, the man came with a lot of money to buy the car. And we didn't pay on anything on it. We just had it free. And the owner said it's not available.
Oh my.
Bishop EJ, some men listening are hearing your stories of being faced with challenges, yet overcoming them. My heart fell when I heard that when you did Nagazed, your son died. How does one get past some of these challenges? You have been telling us, I mean, how did it feel? You're hearing the developers coming, you sound as if you couldn't get anywhere to go, you had to be at Art Academy. How does one stay focused? How does one stay purpose-driven to ensure they don't lose sight of what they have believed in? Encourage our men by telling us how to do that.
All right. You need the call of God upon your life. You need to believe that God is a supernatural God. He can work miracles. You need to believe that as long as there's a call on your life to do supernatural things, the devil is going to fight you more than the pastor who does not believe in the supernatural, because you are a danger to the devil's kingdom, to the kingdom of darkness. So I would preach on healing. I would preach on demons. I would preach on being delivered from demons. I would preach that many sicknesses are caused by evil spirit, especially sickness from which you can't get better. And I have seen the healings and the miracles takes place. So when you experience those healings and miracles, you know it is God, and you're not going to let anything stop you. I remember one night in the church at Hope and Mercy Ministries, I was on the platform and I felt the anointing, and I went flat on my stomach, and I asked God to cleanse me and to wash me from all sin. And when I got up, I was like a drunken man. And when I went down in front of the church at the altar, everybody who touched me fell on the ground. And everybody who I touched fell on the ground. So when you experience the power of God in your life, it's not easy to go astray. But you have to have desire in your heart that you want to do great things for God, and that no weapon that form against you shall prosper. And we saw healings. One lady, she had a broken toe. We sat her down one Tuesday night and prayed for her toe. And Wednesday morning, her broken toe was healed. One brother had a heart attack, not a heart attack. He had a stroke, was in the hospital. When he came out, he could not bend his right knee. And we prayed for him and just leave him. And at the end of the service, I said, brother, what happened to your foot? And he got up and ran.
Oh.
He ran around the church.
Oh my.
So when you believe in the miracle working power of God and see it work, it's hard for you to go astray or to disbelieve God. So
Bishop,
I would say, fast, pray, pay your tithes. I'm strong on the tithes thing, you know.
Yes.
Because God says, I will open the windows of heaven and pour you out a blessing. And I've seen it work in my life. Tithing and giving to the work of the Lord and giving to people is very important. And if things cannot work out for you, it means that something is missing in your life. There's something that you're not doing.
Oh, Bishop Errol Wright speaking. I want to ask you, how does a leader, especially a Christian leader, maintain integrity? And specifically, you know, we have been just a few pastors having trouble. Sexual misconduct is not new in the church, but past few weeks and so there's been some spotlight on it as well, and we can't live in denial. What is it that you would say, you know, you men of God in position, you're attractive, sometimes wielding power intentionally or unintentionally. Women look to you, adore you, men want to be like you. All of that. How do you deal with all of that and not cross the line? Excellent. Sexual abuse, getting messed up sexually. Bishop, talk to us, because men listening and need some guidance on this.
Well, what I would say to that, if you're really saved and love the Lord, the devil will tempt you with a lot of that. But the moment you do something out of the way, it will make you very uncomfortable. And it is for you to know that what you have done is wrong, and for you to keep away from that. Because if you continue in that trend, it's going to destroy your ministry. So you have the Holy Spirit within you. Whenever you cross the line, whenever you do anything wrong, you will feel very unhappy. You will feel very uncomfortable. And so you should recognize that feeling and keep away from that which is wrong. But women will always come after you. They will always come after you, as you said, if you're attractive, and so forth. You know, the devil will send them on you. But listen to that, give heed to that uneasy feeling that you feel when you have done anything wrong, or if you have stepped over the line. And
Bishop Wright, I know you have written a book trying to help this nation, because I know you are a nation builder. And as we talk about integrity, give me about a minute and a half, as time is running out on us, or coming to a close, of maintaining integrity and how to help this nation as men men of integrity?
All right. I've written a book, right? And it took me a year and 4 months. And the title of it is Who Troubled Jamaica?
Yes.
Okay. And it deals with the role of the fathers, the role of men in general, the role of ladies, and the role of children. And if the fathers mainly is not playing their role, we're going to have a problem in the country. I might not be answering your question straight as you want me to, but I want to say what God wants me to say. Is that most murders in Jamaica are committed by fatherless children between the age of a child is from 17 down. And most gang members are fatherless. It was said on the radio the other day that 60% of crime is committed by gang members, 60%, okay? And there are a lot of gangs in Jamaica and they are fatherless, and most young men in prison are fatherless. And ladies must not have children that they cannot afford. The man who has money, maybe like you two, may not have more than 2 or 3 children. And those who are poor have 7, 8, and 9 children without proper education. So they can't get a livable wage. So they are easily attracted to the gang. And many Christians are ignorant concerning the cause of crime and violence. And they need to read this book, Who Troubled Jamaica? And look at the government. They have been spending billions of dollars fighting crime. And the key is fighting crime cannot stop crime. You must fight it, but it cannot stop crime. You have to get to the root cause and deal with the root cause. And the main root cause is fatherlessness. It's a problem within the family. It's a problem with men. And a man can be in the house, but he's not playing the role of a father. So the job of a father is very important. I answer the question like this because I do not believe the show should be closed. This program should be closed without saying that.
Yes.
The fathers must play their role. And one day this book will become popular because after they have tried everything to stop crime, they'll never stop crime until they deal with the main cause of crime.
Wow. Thank you, Bishop E.J. Wright. Member of the Portmore Ministers Fraternal as well, continue to be strong. Married for over 51 years, a pioneer of many churches. He was our guest today on our Mentegrity program. Kev?
Yes, we really want to thank you so much. We want to give you, just encouragement as you continue your latter years as well. But thanks to our producer, Tony K. Bromfield, to Neeson Williams for technical support. And yes, Courtney.
Our special guest pastor, Omar Ricketts from Harmony Gospel in Spanish Town, who shared his testimony with us earlier. And Bishop Wright, we thank you for joining us, a true man of integrity.
Listen again, next week for another mailbox in the program Designed for Men with guests who are men. It is our privilege again to have Bishop Wright in our midst. I'm Kevin Bailey.
And I'm Courtney Morrison. Next week, Monday. Bless you.
Bless the Lord.
Yes. Strong man.
Thank you again.
Pretty man.
See you on Monday, Bishop. Next week, Monday.
Yes. Strong man.
Kev, heal up the family.
I am a man. Hey, man.
Heal up Muriel and Mr. Sam.
I am a man.
The family too. And Bishop, please convey our hello to your family as well. Thank you so much.
Praise God.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Blessings.